Hello, hello, and welcome to day 5 of the Attracting Your Dream Job or Work 15-day intensive. I'm Agnes, you know that by now, and we're going to go through the things that you are to do today. Now, the first thing is going to be a couple of YouTubes for you to watch down in the description. One will be a meditation of mine, so you can follow that at the end if you like, and also a little snippet about how I manifested an increase in income through creative work. So that's the first thing for you to do. The second thing, your 50 affirmations from your own list. And number 3, you're working on your scene or paragraph. And again, you're doing I'm happy and grateful now that. Yeah? Now, you are also going to do your reading of your Wallace Wattles book, continue on with that. And for today, because there's actually a meditation that I've already done and you're going to be using it as a meditation, a work meditation, dream job meditation today, I'm actually going to share, to change this up a little bit of my own personal work story. Now, I came from a family that had the beliefs you have to work hard for money and creative people don't make any money. You have to have another job. So those were the beliefs that I had about work. I came from an extremely creative family, but no one ever made a cent. So I went on to, I won't tell you so much the beginnings of, what I did, although I will mention that my first job was picking oysters in Canada on Vancouver Island when I was still at school with a girlfriend of mine. Her father had a oyster farm and he used to sell seafood. So that was one of my very, very first jobs, which I got paid so little, I can't even remember how much it was. Now, when I actually got serious and I started working, I went into doing a lot of jobs I didn't like. I worked in an insurance company, and then I worked in retail, and I just really felt trapped and not at ease and really dreaded going to work most of the time and was paid very badly. So as I started doing, this work more and more, law of attraction, law of projection, understanding self-love, understanding work was a part of self-love, what happened was I started to go into more creative work. Even though I wasn't getting paid that well, I was still getting paid. So the first thing I did was I had a business called Frog's Legs French for Children. I was teaching French in kindergartens, and I would move all over the city. I would do an hour here, an hour there, and I got paid by the hour. Now, I was in my 20s then, so I got paid quite well. And I felt like I was free in between jobs. I could go and sit in the park or go for a swim and do different things. So that was a pretty good jump for me in my 20s. And I went on to then create a dance show, which was called France Dance, and it was teaching French through this dance show. And I got paid quite well for that. But it was incredibly exhausting. I was doing the can-can. I was doing, lots of costume changes. I employed 2 other dancers, sometimes one. And you were doing quick costume changes, dancing together, sometimes dancing on your own. And it was an incredibly physically demanding job to the point where it smashed my health, and I ended up bedridden for 4 months with glandular fever because I was exhausted. Yes, we were earning quite well, but by the time you took out the petrol and the costumes and this and that, you weren't really left with that much. But it was creative and it was really, really fun. Now, from that, I went on and I was working in a shop. I'd actually, from getting really sick and having glandular fever, I ended up getting a tumor. As many of you who have read my story or listened to my story, I got a tumor and then I had to totally relax and chill out and get well from having this tumor in my late 20s. So all of this was lack of money and pushing myself even when I was sick because I needed to have money coming in to pay the bills. So my beliefs were really smashing me at this point in terms of I felt like I couldn't look after myself because I needed the money to come in, and I didn't want to, lean on my parents at that stage or anyone else. And at this stage, I was going into debt also, because I was, living beyond my means as well in the city of Sydney. So what I did too was I moved with my husband at the time, and we went and lived in a more alternative community, and I got well, and then I just started working in a retail store. And from that, I really liked it because it was quite creative. We got to do the displays. I knew nothing about it at the time, but I worked with this really wonderful woman who was really creative and really good at creating and attracting money and attracting people to buy what she had to offer. So I worked for her, I think, for about 3 years. And then she had this beautiful candle shop and lots of homewares. And I was really happy there. Like, we got on really well. We created stuff together. She created a beautiful work environment for me. And I learnt a lot from her from watching. Now, from that, I left that community and I moved back into the city, because this was about an hour and a half out of the city. And I ended up, again, going to work in a retail store. So I was, at this point, in Westfields, underground sometimes. You didn't know whether it was night or day outside. I felt really trapped all day, and I felt depressed when I went to work in the morning, knowing I was going to be stuck in one room all day long. And, I was getting paid, I think, about $15 an hour, which was not a lot by Australian standards at that time. So I was working 5 days a week. My feet and my legs were aching by the end of the week. My feet and legs were aching halfway through the week. I felt hard done by. I felt like I was working too hard. I felt like the people that I was working for didn't appreciate me, and I felt really, really stuck. So for today, that's half my work story. I'll tell you the rest tomorrow, and I'm going to post the YouTube that tells you a little bit about how I changed it to get you ready for tomorrow's rest of story. Okay, so enjoy your Wallace Wattles book today. Continue to apply what he talks about living in a certain way, and enjoy the YouTubes, and lots of love to you. And I hope by day 5 you're starting to get the wheels moving to really receive that job that you really, really want. Remember, again, I'm going to say work is about service. It's about giving. It's about giving value. It's about giving your skills. It's about giving your time. And it's about putting love into your work. So if you can view work like that, not as the enemy of something you have to do to get money, and then you can only do what you like on the side, which is how I used to think, start to think about love, and that work and love can go together. Okay? You can put love into your work, and then your work will reward you by appreciating you through the people that you work with, through the customers, and also through the finances. Okay? Lots of love to you. See you tomorrow in day 6.